Well, hello everybody, Ed here, and have I got something cool as heck for you today. What you're looking at is Storify, in particular Storify for iPad. Now, I've had my eye on this company for a good 18 months. Been fascinating. I love the concept of it, but initially it was a very closed beta, and it was only web-based. But just this week, a couple of days ago, they released this application as an iPad app. And really, it's the natural home of where it should be. And what it does is gives you the ability to collate stories, aka Storify, a whole bunch of social media, and then allows you to comment on it and puts it together in a really awesome way. So, for example, just to show you what one looks like, if I tap on DM Magazine, you can see here that I've got some comments, the reaction to DM Magazine, and talking about it being a fantastic week. I've grabbed a whole lot of Twitter comments, some Instagram photos, and some blog posts, and including my comments. Now, here's the cool thing. Creating this sort of thing could not be more simple. All you do is literally tap on New Story here. We'll give it a title. And then we can go down, and basically what happens is each element of the page allows you to mix and match. So, for example, if I was to lead off with a picture, I'm going to tap on Instagram here, and it automatically links in, because I've set this all up to link up to my Instagram pictures. And you can see why I'm such a big fan of taking as many photos as you possibly can, because they're all handy. So if I want to grab a photo in here, we're talking iPad, so I'm going to use this one. So I hold that, and I literally just drag it across, and boom, it becomes a photo in my graphic. And then I'll swipe across and just pop all of this out of the way. So there's my story. And then I can just tap down below the thing here, and I can add some comments. So I've got a comment box there, and then I might go and have a look at Twitter. And what I'm going to do is search for Spotify tweets. And can you imagine this with any market that you like? Spotify, and hit search, and of course it's Storify. I always get that wrong. Storify. There we are. Hit return. So you can see there I was reporting a little bug, so I might put a comment over here. And look at this. It's beautifully brought on that tweet, dated the tweet, put the link in there, made it a quote. It's just absolutely sensational. And if I like, I can just put my finger on the little bars there and then drag it down so I can reorder any of these issues. I can then tap and keep working. So not only do we have tweets, we can have a look at for Facebook comments. Now, currently there's not much in terms of Facebook, lots of like searching of photos of you, but then, or me in this particular case. But then if we look at YouTube, and I do a search for Storify on iPad, hit return, and there's an interesting YouTube there from Scobalizer, so I'm going to drag that one into my article so people can have a look at it. Right, drop it in. Just going to drop it down below there. So we've got a article, and you can see how this is building up. Then the coolest thing, of course, is if I want to reference, now I know Pete Williams did a blog post on this, so I'm going to do Pete, where are we? Pete, it's here. I'm going to search for it in Google. Pete Williams. There we go. I think that's his blog, I think. here we go. He did an article using, look at this. Here we are. He's already using this. Check this out. Best of noise reduction. So I'm going to tap on that so we get to the direct link there. And then I'm just going to go up here and click Add to Story. And it drops it in at the top, I think. Yep, it's bringing that in now. As you say, there's a couple of little quirks with this version 1. In theory, it should drop it down for where you are, but I'll put this in my little article here because it's a great example of usage, and then I'll explain that. So there we go. We've got an example of Pete using it. So you can bring in links. So when you look at all of this, we've got links, we've got comments. You can obviously type a lot of detail. It just is absolutely brilliant. Now, did I use Storify there? I did, thank goodness. There we are. So we've got all of that. Look at that. And then we just hit the publish button. So it gives you a URL that you want to use. It gives you a share, so you can share to Twitter, you can share to Facebook, and you can also notify. What's cool is if you quote people, like tweets and so on, it'll actually notify those people that you've quoted them, which is actually a pretty cool thing. So in this case, I'm going to skip this because I want to show you something else. I'm not going to do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the website. This functionality is not in version 1. I'm sure it's coming, but you actually have to go back to the Storify website. So let's jump over to the Storify website. So here we are at the Storify website, and I'm just going to go into my own Storify. You can follow people on Storify. It has its own social network and all of those things, and you can see the ones that I have published there already. So we've just got How Good is Storify? So that's the one that we wanted to have a look at. It's beautifully designed. Really is fantastic. So there we are. How good is Storify? Now, it can give you embed code there, which is fantastic. You can email the story. You can share the story using, +1s and likes and so on. But obviously, I want to use this material on my own website. I'm not necessarily here to build up Storify's content and views. I want my views. And fortunately, Storify, being the nice people they are, have made that very easy. You just click up here, the export button. And check that out. You can add to external sites. Currently, it's WordPress, WordPress self-hosted, Tumblr, MailChimp, Posterous, and also Drupal sites as well can be configured. And I've already got my blog configured, so I can say, yes, please, I'd like that to go there. And I press export. And it goes and posts this article. Now, for market leadership, you've got to think this is going to be absolutely amazing. So there's our Storify right there, okay? And now, if we go over to my blog, you can see here, look at this, all of these elements are all built in on my blog, which is fantastic. There we go, enter Storify. Right, how beautiful is that? How good looking is that? I mean, this is phenomenal. Really, really, really cool stuff. So I think this is going to become incredibly popular. It's a really clever way of summing up a day's story in a really multimedia format. Looks fantastic, and it's so easy to do on the iPad. So I really, really recommend this to you. So with that, hope you enjoy Storify for iPad, and we will speak soon.